enjoyed when people would come and visit me. And one of the
Yeah.
things after that, I had a great connection with the staff at where I was at rehab, um, in over in Chevy Chase. And every year I would go back to the hospital and do a
Wow.
concert for them and share and just to extend some love to the people that are there being confined and everything. So I made it a point to go back and just give back because it does make a difference. There are people who have no one. And you never know. It's like one night at 3 o'clock in the morning,
Mhm.
one of the nurses, was ministering to me, and I got an opportunity to minister to someone, and they gave their life to Christ, and they didn't make it to the next morning.
Wow.
So you just never know when, you reach out and share and offer Christ and be able to just be there for someone to talk to and give some love, share some love, show some love makes all the difference in the world. So I would say just give the gift of love and share
Yeah.
and give.
Yeah. And that's what it's all about, giving and sharing, caring. Those we just came back on a social media platform. I still have my brother with me, Mike McCoy and Linda Washington. While you guys were we were on our network and we on social media now. We were so blessed to hear some great artists and to do some comments. Um, Mike, when we think about this season that we get in going into 2025, a brand new year, we're from the nation's capital where a lot is going on. The whole world is watching us. We're praying for our leaders. We're praying for those who in positions.
Yeah.
We have to.
Yeah.
We can't walk around bitter, angry, upset. We have to pray for those in authority.
Yes.
And then to be at First Baptist Church of Glen Arden and Pastor Jenkins, when I see him, Doc, I say, "You remember me? Look at this." He said, "Yeah, David." He hugs me, and just treats me so beautiful when I come in there, man. His heart is bigger than the church.
Yeah.
And you remember me and you were talking around maybe 10 years ago, and I said, Mike, Mike, I'm almost 50 years old, man. You said, "Dang." Because we the same age. I was saying, "Doc, I want to start all over again." He said, "Man, let's think about this. Starting all over again. I mean, from scratch, from ground zero. It's not as easy because you're talking about from ground zero, building up. We're not in our 20s no more. We're not in our 30s no more. It's a difference now. So I believe moving into the season that God put you in, just like PIC TV Network, moving into the area that God put you in, doing what God has called you to do today in this time. And there's nothing wrong with partnershiping. There's nothing wrong with connecting.
Yeah.
You don't have to
Collaboration.
you don't have to be a lone ranger. Mike, I want you to elaborate on that. Did you remember that conversation we were at LaFont Plaza?
I remember it. I remember it vaguely. I do remember it vaguely. I think, so on my 30-year reunion concert, a lot of people don't know that Stephen Hurd used to sing for me. He used to sing with my group. But I also used to play for Stephen Hurd's group. So this is where the collaboration, it happened. You scratch my back, I scratch your back, and I think in today's society that we're in today, there's no way you can make it being a Lone Ranger. You have to learn how to collaborate with someone, even if it's just communicating, even if it's just calling and getting some advice. They say the strange thing about men, especially when we're driving, we don't like to ask where we're going. We could be going the wrong way. I know where I'm going. Your wife said, "You're going the wrong way." I know where I'm going, and we end up going the wrong way. And I think we just need to
Yeah.
learn how to collaborate, and also be willing to take advice from other people, just to
Mhm.
hear what they have to say. It's not to say that you know it all. And it's so funny that you brought this up, because I was just thinking, and I was sharing with my friend Robert, I was just thinking I need to have a conversation with this other artist, this friend of mine's, because you start to see things, and it's not necessarily a negative things, but it's just some things that that you can do just a little bit better, and just I'm toying with how to embrace that conversation, and but yeah, in this day and time, and I think Linda can testify to this, you have to be able to collaborate, listen, take advice. Listen, somebody asked me, and I'm not gonna. Somebody asked me, I get this from a lot of people. What is the success of First Baptist Church of Glen Art and Pastor John Jenkins? And I said, well, I can give you a lot of reasons. I think the reason why the church is so successful. But here's one of the reasons. I said, because he has a lot of leaders around him that he listens to. You have some leaders, some pastors who don't even want to listen to other leaders. I think when we listen and we can learn from each other, there's so much God can do when we all come together. So where there's unity, there's strength, and I just believe that. So,
and we have to move ego. Linda going to come in a second, and we're going to do a part 3 in about 10 minutes. We have to move ego out the way. A lot of people, Linda, while Mike taking his tea break, we have to move ego. Moving from DC to Atlanta, Georgia, you had to leave, but there will never be elevation without separation. When the plane takes off, it has to leave from National Airport, the ground level, to go up 30, 60, whatever feet it's going to fly. So sometimes that's the best thing to do for elevation, and being with a new area in a new group. And I just put this up here for us, for those who are watching right now, things to do better in 2025. Mike just said, let's communicate. Let's talk more. You don't have to be alone thinking you're the only one going through this. That's where isolation comes in. And people, how many people commit suicide? How many young people that check out? Because they don't know who to talk to. They text it out. We talk it out, but they text it out. But we need to talk. Like Mike was saying, one thing, let's do better in 2025. Let's communicate more.
Yeah.
Let's talk more. I want to see less people checking out, especially when it comes to taking their own lives. So many young people, it's countless, thousands of young people, social media, suicide is just unreal. If you guys you would not believe it.
Yeah.
Over text message. But Mike was saying, let's do better by communicating. Let's talk to each other. Linda, can you comment before we take our part 3 to this presentation?
Yeah, I can, because this is a very difficult time of year for a lot of people. I had a cousin that committed suicide earlier this year, and one of the things he was planning to do was come to Atlanta to live with my brother while he was getting himself together. Troubled young man that had been through a lot, been in the prison system, but had gotten out and still, just couldn't get it together, and committed suicide. And my brother was like, well, he never said that to me. A lot of times, like you said, we don't take the time to reach out and communicate. And I think that is so important to be able to do that, because you never know what people are thinking. You never know what's on their mind. And that level of communication, just being able to reach out. A lot of people are not brave enough to do it, or feel that this is the end of the world. I mean, he jumped off of a bridge, and when it was on Facebook, he did it live.
Wow.
He did it live. And it took them 2 weeks to get it down.
Wow.
But a lot of young people are going through a lot of things, and each one should reach one. And if you see something, say something, and extend the opportunity or the invitation to be there to talk to someone, because you never know what people are going through.
That's so important, Linda, last week my friend Pastor Bowie called me and said he went over his friend's house to look at the game, and his 23-year-old son, who's up at the house, while they were looking at the game, he's on social media, decides to check out and do the same thing, kills himself online while people are watching. We have to communicate. He's 23 years old. He will never graduate from college. He will never walk down the aisle, never see his kids, never enjoy Christmas. While we're planning a holiday celebration for Christmas, they have to plan a funeral. What Mike said right now, and I pray that somebody get this, let's communicate more. Let's talk it out, especially for those who are watching right now. I know you may lost your job. Yeah. You may have not money. You may be going through some health crisis, but guess what? You can always find Christ in your crisis. Mike, you really blessed us, man, by talking about communicating more.
Well, Pastor, and I'm going to be extremely transparent when I'm getting ready to say that in 2016, I was diagnosed with cancer. By the grace of God, I am cancer free. 7 years I was free of cancer in 2017. Not knowing 2 years ago, my wife was diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer, the worst kind. She wasn't supposed to be here. The doctors told her that she would have to take chemo for the rest of her life. And we all know the effects of chemo, which is not good. I mean, she does her regular checkup, and she just happened to go to her regular checkup, and it was stage 4 from the very beginning.
Whoa.
But through prayer, through faith, through believing in God, through communicate how you feel. Talk about it. Let's talk about it. I'm happy to report that 2 years later, my wife stopped taking chemo 6 months ago. Mind you, the doctor said she would have to have chemo the rest of her life to live. And we all know that at some point, chemo can take you out too as well. 6 months later, my wife hasn't had any chemo. She had a PET scan about a month ago. There's no evidence, no trace of cancer anywhere in her body. I'm saying that to say that you have to be able to talk and communicate to express how you feel. Because the stress alone with having cancer or being diagnosed for cancer can take you out as well. But when you talk about it, when you express how you feel, and ultimately, believe God, He can do great and marvelous things. So it's very important, if you feel like you want to take your life, I always say, and I'm going to say this too, because I was 14 or 15 years old, and I took some pills because I don't want to live anymore. I don't want to live longer. The thing is, I didn't take enough of them, but I took some pills because I was trying to take my life. And depression is very real. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I still battle through depressing times or depressing moments. But the key is, I always say this, if you can just wait till tomorrow.
Wow.
Because usually if you wait till tomorrow, you will feel a little better than you felt the day before. Mm-hmm. So, hang in there, but listen, I think you said it, Dr. Evans, you can't be on an island by yourself.
Yeah.
There's no way you can make it if you're on an island by yourself.
Yeah.
And so learn how to reach out to someone. Don't be afraid to share your feelings. Because when you keep it all in, that's usually when the enemy comes in.
That's right.
So
When you're isolated and you're alone, man.
yeah.
And that's why we need accountability. We need people who we give account to.
Yes.
I talked to Linda. She talked to me and said, pray for me.
Yes.
You know, and I felt, man, the love that we have is not on the surface, man. It's no ego. That's what I love. That's why I've had to bring you on. And we're going to go to part 3 because this show ends in about 3 minutes. You know, we're gonna have a whole set. We're gonna have a 1, 2, 3. We're gonna have 4. We have 4 segments. PIC TV Network, folks. We here on part 2 of the show, and you know, when God takes over, what can you do? Because he's the master of it all. Anyway, we're gonna come back.
Again, Dr. Evans,
yes,
I want to
sir.
thank you and PIC TV, you know, for the amazing things that you are doing, not just for the DMV community, but for the world. So, you know, I want to honor and thank you. And and it was so good to see the beautiful Linda Washington. She's so beautiful. I haven't seen her in such a long time, but she looks the same. So it's good to see her. And I'm excited to hear her music, her new music coming out. So thank you so much for having me. I really do appreciate just an honor just to be here. Thank you so much.
This is the beginning of a brand new segment of shows and programs. You know,
thanks for having me over.
We know God is in this thing. PIC TV Network fans, we'll be right
Doug Williams, the one and only Super Bowl #1 champion of the world, y'all. Y'all know he's there. We're going to be doing some things together on PIC TV Network, y'all.
So congratulations to the PIC TV Network for being one of the top streaming networks on Roku with multiple channels. With PIC TV stars and fans from all over the world, shout out to David Evans, the president, and keep watching PIC TV Network on Roku.